Hey guys, welcome back to Vertical Momentum. I'm your host, Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. Guys, I've had a lot of people ask me, what the hell is crypto? What is an NFT? So I decided to have the man, the myth, the legend come on and talk about and drop it down Barney style, what each of those are. So guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment from this. You're going to be learning a lot. He's doing so much in that crypto space. He's got a Twitter show that's blowing up that I absolutely love. So my brother, what's going on? Good afternoon and happy Labor Day.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, man. I've been enjoying Labor Day. I told you I touched grass this weekend and got out and retouched with nature, and now I'm back in the technology world. So thank you so much for having me on here.
All right, so now we've been connected for a while, and I've been loving watching what you're doing, and we know that there's been a lot of ebbs and flows with. I got my first NFT finally, but there's such a big, a lot of questions to be answered about NFTs, crypto, Metaverse. You were just on another one of my friends' podcasts, and totally amazing. So talk to us first of all. Where are you from? Where did you grow up, and how did you become the crypto guy that you are now?
Man, so my name is Andrew Sayles. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and my crypto journey is kind of a crazy one. I got kind of a crazy story in general, right? I sold drugs growing up. I'm from St. Louis. Everybody from St. Louis is a hustler. But then when I got out of selling drugs, or towards the end of my drug selling career, I was playing poker full time. And poker players were some of the first ones to actually use Bitcoin, like, because poker players always owe each other money and stuff. So, they would use Bitcoin to send money back and forth. And so my drug selling past caught up with me, and I did a little bit of time over it. And when I finally got out, I ran into one of my buddies that I used to travel around with playing poker. And he's like, "Man, did you hear about Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I heard it went to $100, but it's probably never going to go any higher." And he's like, "Dude, it's $1,000. And that was in 2016. So every day, about a week after that, until June of 2017, I researched Bitcoin. I just dug in, read all the posts in the forums, and I finally pulled the trigger on my first Bitcoin in June 2017. I bought 3 whole Bitcoins for the $2,600 to $2,700 range, and held them ever since, and been doing stuff in this space ever since. And the rest is history. Is where I'm at now.
Well, can you explain? Because I'm a 53-year-old guy, and when somebody was trying to explain to me what crypto was, what an NFT was, my eyes just glazed over, because I had no idea. But you're the kind of guy that can break it down Barney style. You could break it down easily for people like me to understand. What is cryptocurrency?
So cryptocurrency is just internet money, right? Or that's what we say as a joke, but it really is just digital money. And we've all already been used to digital money. You probably don't use cash too much anymore. You probably just swipe your credit card. Yeah. Now, here's what makes Bitcoin so fascinating, and why I know it's the future. Bitcoin is decentralized. So there's not any one government backing it or driving it, or who has particular invested interest on it. And by it being decentralized, the way it operates is it's a decentralized ledger. So the way I like to explain this to people is, let's imagine I'm going to buy some of Richard's coffee, right? And I want some of this vertical momentum coffee, and I'm going to buy like $100 worth. And, I go and I swipe my card with Richard or whatever, and I'm getting my coffee. Well, my bank isn't, and let's say I have US Bank and Richard has Bank of America. Well, my bank, US Bank, isn't going to like put some money in a wheelbarrow, wheel it down to Bank of America, and, dump it. And then they're going to go put it, physically in Richard's account. No, all that happens is they just update numbers on a computer screen. My bank just deducts $100 from my account, notifies Richard's bank, and then they add $100 to his account, 100, 100. So those banks are middlemen. All they're doing is just keeping track of a ledger. They're just moving numbers around. And for doing that, they charge exorbitant amounts of fees. Well, with Bitcoin, there is no need for that middleman, because that ledger is stored on the internet, backed on servers all across the world. There's a server in outer space. And all that happens is, if I want to send money to, or I want to send a Bitcoin to Richard, all that happens is that ledger is updated that Andrew sent a Bitcoin to Richard, or Bitcoin is quote unquote anonymous. So we would see that ABC wallet, my wallet, sent a Bitcoin to XYZ wallet. And then if Richard wants to send like half of that Bitcoin to another wallet, XYZ wallet will just send half a Bitcoin to LMNOP wallet. And the beauty of Bitcoin is every single transaction back to the creation of that particular Bitcoin is stored on that ledger, so you know it's legit. It's impossible to counterfeit. So yeah, that's the I hope that's a simple explanation of crypto.
Okay, so now I've been now watching it because I'm the kind of guy that I like to lurk, and I love to have people like yourself on the show. I've had several crypto guys come on talk about it,
What's up?
but there's so many different kinds. So what should a person look for if they're looking to get into the crypto, even if just to invest $5, $10? What should a person look for in a reputable Bitcoin?
So I like that question, man, and I like the way you said it too. Even if it's just $5 or $10, and that's what I've been telling my friends and family for years, and most of them haven't listened. But I know a guy that started buying Bitcoin about the same time that I did in 2017, and he put $150 in every single week, and he still does it to this day. And granted, this was near the high last time I verified what he had. But when Bitcoin was at its high, he had about $1 million in Bitcoin. So a little bit goes a long way with the way these market moves, and if you do it over time. So if you're looking for a reputable cryptocurrency and you're a beginner, I believe everybody should start with Bitcoin, because it's the one that I believe is going to be here the longest, because it goes back to what I overall look for at my root in any technology investing is, how does this solve a need? What's the use case for it? And Bitcoin solves the ultimate monetary need, the ultimate financial need of a decentralized monetary system. And so it's basically digital gold. That will be the gold standard of crypto. So you really, in my opinion, this isn't financial advice, right? But you can't go wrong putting your money into Bitcoin as a beginner. Now, the upside on Bitcoin isn't as big as it used to be, because it went from cents to tens of thousands of dollars. So a lot of people want to place their quote unquote bets into cryptocurrencies that are have more upside. So if I'm looking for that, I still go back to my fundamental theory of, what's the use case? What need does this solve? Why do people need to have this crypto other than it can go up in value, right? Like I don't try to put my money in something because people say it's going to go up in value. I want to know why it's going to go up in value. How does it help the world? What impact does it make? And stuff like that is something that's legit. And then from there, I'm looking at who's the team behind this. I want to see a track record of success. I bet on winners. If you've had success in, whether it's outside of the technology space or inside the technology space, and I see that track record of success, I'm willing to bet on what you guys are doing if I like the use case in that. And then I want to see what's called a roadmap. And that's just your plan and your timeline. If you don't know where you're going, anywhere will do. So I want to see a game plan, and it has to be a realistic timeline. If it's going to take you 10 years to achieve, dude, I don't give a shit about 10 years from now with crypto. This space moves like that. You got to have plans and check marks, 6 months, a year down the road max. And that's almost too long sometimes. So yeah, if I'm looking for something new, those are my boxes I want to check.
All right, so now one of my friends from LinkedIn has a question. I don't know if you know the answer. Says, so how did Bill Murray's Bitcoin charity get ripped off?
I don't know, but so I kind of how I use my example is, remember when we all first got on the internet and like your grandma or your aunt was like, I'm talking to this rich prince in Nigeria, and all I got to do is send him $2,000 and he's coming over here and we're getting married, and then we're going to be rich. And like, all these people got ripped off because they fell for this scam that is obvious, right, to us. And it's obvious because we've seen it a million times. But now we're going through, we call this Web3, the whole blockchain stuff is called Web3. So now we're in Web3, and there's a whole new different sort of scam. So like, is if you give somebody your wallet information, boom, they can drain your wallet, and there's nobody to call, right? There's no customer service call to get your number to call to get your money back. Maybe if you click a bad link and give them access to your computer, boom, it's just like downloading a virus back in the day, right? It's just a new spin on the scam. Or for my NFT project, a few of our holders got scammed because somebody sent an NFT to their wallet, because this is a public ledger, right? This you don't know who owns the wallet, but you can see the wallet and what's in it. So people sent an NFT saying that they had won a contest, and you just need to come to this website and connect your wallet, and you get this free NFT that's worth all this money. And for whatever reason, I didn't answer my phone call when these people called me, so they freaked out and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna miss out on it," and they went and connected their wallet and they got drained. So probably something along those lines. I would bet that either somebody that was on the Bill Murray's team connected their wallet to a hostile source, or B, somebody on the inside had the wallet information and drained it personally.
Okay, so now, like you're saying, cryptocurrency is decentralized, so there's no FDIC, kind of like with the bank system. So it sounds to me like it's still the wild, wild west.
It is.
So you got to be really careful, or else you can get totally wiped out. And like you said, there's no 1-800 number to call. Nobody's coming to bail you out. So you just got to figure it out, right?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's just common sense, man. If you wouldn't do it in like the normal world, don't do it in the metaverse, right? Like I wouldn't let you have access to my bank account in the real world. Like I'm not going to give you any type of access to my crypto wallet. But when you start playing with digital money, it just doesn't feel real, and people kind of forget the rules that you play by. And there's the same rules apply here, but the difference is in the real world, we have regulatory commissions that enforce these rules. And in the metaverse, there isn't anybody, right? It's just people like me trying to look out and be like, hey, don't do that.
All right. So now I have another question. I'm just starting to learn about NFTs because of my friend Gary Vaynerchuk. I started studying about NFTs. So talk to us about what the hell is an NFT?
For sure. So an NFT is a non-fungible token, which means each one is essentially a one-on-one, right? Like with Bitcoin, there's 21 million of them, and they can be broken down into small pieces. With NFTs, you'll have a collection of maybe 10,000 NFTs, and each NFT within that collection is a one-on-one piece. Now, NFTs themselves are just digital assets, right? Some people are into them for the artwork. They believe digital art's the future, and it might be. I'm not into it for the artwork. I'm more into NFTs for the utility, the use case. And here's how I'll explain to you. If I told you I own a piece of a casino and it pays me $120 every week, you'd probably think that was pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I tell you I own this NFT and every week they airdrop me, 3.5 Solana because they have this dice game, that sounds kind of weird. And so sometimes stuff gets lost in the translation because it's new technology. But at the end of the day, these NFTs just are digital assets. Like I invest in NFTs personally that have a use case and can do something with me. So there's an NFT I'm in to where each NFT represents ownership within this casino, within shares of this casino. And people can go play roulette, blackjack, a coin flip game, a dice game. And, a portion of what the house takes in or it gets airdropped, gets sent to all the NFT holders. So there's other NFTs that you can use in games, and you can play these games. And when you win in the games, you earn crypto, or sometimes you can level up your NFTs and modify them in the games, and you can sell them to somebody else for more money. So they're really just digital assets, anything from art to ownership in business to stuff you can use in games or other, technology protocols.
All right. Now, like one thing, one of my friends taught me that, because when I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. I collected football cards, basketball cards. And he says, for me, because he broke it down, he said, NFTs are just digital baseball cards. And I'm like, Oh, I
Yeah.
get it. I understand. That I can understand. So, but now let's hop into another thing I want to talk about is I watched this movie. Was it called? Player One.
Yeah.
Uh, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And so, what is the metaverse?
Man, that's a such a loaded question. um,
That's why I have the man.
so I'm probably going to go contrarian to what most people are going to say, how they're going to answer this question, because you hear so many people talking about, oh, we're building the metaverse, or this is our metaverse. And like in reality, like the metaverse isn't going to be a place. It's going to just be like the new internet, right? When somebody builds a website, they're not like building the internet, they're just building something on the internet. So like the metaverse is really just built on top of the internet, and it's really just going to be more of a decentralized protocol than what we use now, and you'll have more ownership over your data. What I think the metaverse will be is when you'll interact with the blockchain without even realizing you're interacting with the blockchain. The blockchain is this ledger that I was talking about right earlier. um, so an example that what I think how our metaverse interactions will be, at some point in time we'll have those goggles or glasses, your sunglasses, and they'll be connected to your wallet, and we probably won't even call it a wallet. We'll just call it your personal storage vault, something like that you keep your digital assets in, and access to your digital money. And maybe you're walking around town and you have a Starbucks NFT in your storage vault, and Starbucks has a special promotion for any other NFT holders, and you happen to be within a mile of a Starbucks, so you get a notification that comes across your little screen in front of your eyes and say, hey, you have this Starbucks NFT that gives you a notification. Do you want us to give route guidance to Starbucks? And then you'll if you want it, you'll be able to go there. So I don't think the metaverse is going to be a place that you go to necessarily like interact with in like a Ready Player One type situation. I think the metaverse is going to be how we naturally interact within our real world. It'll just be an extension to what we do, and businesses will be tied to it, and it'll be tied to our data, right? Like, I believe UBI, universal basic income, is the future. And like, let's be real, I'm conservative, man. And that's a pretty liberal idea, but I think it's I think it's the future, because technology is advancing so much. AI and robotics is advancing so fast that within the next 20 to 30 years, which sounds like a long time, but it's not, where a lot of these jobs aren't going to be in existence anymore. We're seeing self-driven semi trucks, and that's a big job industry in the United States. So we're going to need to replace those jobs, or we're going to need to replace that income somehow for people. So I think the value in the metaverse is going to be in us actually owning our data, and us being able to monetize things that we do on a daily basis. So for example, I was involved in an NFT project to where I bought these NFT shoes. They were just digital shoes that went in my wallet, but then I connected it to my phone, and I was able to go walk for an hour a day. And at its peak, I was making about $150 a day walking for an hour. And they formed partnerships with Adidas, and they haven't done it yet, but my theory is they're going to sell that data to Adidas, and Adidas is going to monetize it one way or another. And that's how they can fund paying out that type of money. And eventually you'll be paid for all kinds of stuff, just driving, right? Like once we have like everything is self-driving, and self-driving delivery trucks, semis, they're going to need detailed mapped data of all the roads and side roads. So people will get paid just to drive around and collect that data, or, even just your normal drives will be able to update and send information to a satellite that'll update for these AI driven vehicles. But our data is what's going to fuel us. And data is actually what's tied to the metaverse, and the blockchain is how it's going to be tracked and stored. So everyday activity, eventually living healthy, will you'll be rewarded for, because you'll probably have your Apple Watch that'll monitor what you eat, your calorie intake, did you exercise, all that good stuff, and you'll be rewarded for it. It sounds crazy, but it's tied to that Ready Player One stuff you're talking about.
All right. So first of all, I want to thank our sponsors. Sponsor is me. We just came out with our brand new coffee called Vertical Momentum Coffee. It's twice the amount of caffeine, no crash, tastes amazing. But the best part is I make $0 off of it. 100% of the proceeds go to help veterans struggling with homelessness and PTSD. So if you love coffee, if you're drinking it anyway, might as well save a life with it. And then I want to thank StreamYard for sponsoring the show. Guys, if you ever want to have your own show, leave a note below, say StreamYard. I'll actually send a coupon to you, and you can actually start working with StreamYard. I think it's a month for free. So it's something like that. But now I want to definitely talk about, we've seen Bitcoin hit highs. We've seen Bitcoin hit lows. What do you think is the future of cryptocurrency?
Well, and we have to distinguish, right? Like Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It's the granddaddy of cryptocurrencies. So the future of Bitcoin isn't the future of all cryptocurrency. So that's an important thing to touch on first. Now Bitcoin, and I guess to start with what I think the future of Bitcoin is, I think Bitcoin becomes the gold standard, and I don't think it's going to happen super soon, but I think there will be a time when oil is traded in Bitcoin instead of US dollars, and I think we're going to slowly build to that, and I believe we're about to see a lot more bleeding. We'll see Bitcoin go from that will drop to, and I have on-chain analysis to back this up. All this stuff is open source information. I have softwares that comb the blockchain and pick out data details for me. But I think we see Bitcoin drop anywhere to somewhere between 12,000 to 7,000, float there for about a year. And then we'll see the big run up to where in about probably 2024, it'll run up anywhere from 140,000 to 170,000. And a big part of that run up is we're going to see a major institutional and governmental accumulation of Bitcoin. You already have El Salvador buying Bitcoin and basing their economy around Bitcoin. And it's actually already worked in El Salvador. They have a city called Bitcoin Beach that's their entire economy has operated on Bitcoin for about like 4 years now. And Bitcoin's naturally deflationary as opposed to inflationary, like our current US dollar, which we can get into if you guys want to talk about that. But that makes for a much safer economy, right? Like we're feeling the inflation in the US. If you have a deflationary monetary system, you're not going to feel the inflation like we do. So I'm of the belief that we see El Salvador actually become the Dubai of this decade because they're leading the charge of being one of the first governments to base their monetary system around Bitcoin. You're going to see Brazil fall in line with that. Mexico is already looking at it. Venezuela will probably be one of these countries. And then we're probably going to see some African countries start to swoop it up because there's so many just terrible destroyed economies there that they even a small amount of Bitcoin backing their money. It'll probably be, remember we used to be on the gold standard here in the US and we haven't been backed by gold since the 70s, I believe. Yeah. So you're going to see countries actually back their fiat, their current paper money, digital money, however they do it. It'll be backed by Bitcoin because we know there's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be created. And what they'll do is they will they'll issue money backed off that. So you'll see some African countries do it, and eventually the US and other countries will have to fall in line. So I'm of the belief that we end up seeing a $1 million Bitcoin, sometime in the future. I'm not going to say, 5 years or anything like that, but when we see oil traded in Bitcoin, it's going to be a game changer. The US dollar will be worthless by then, in my opinion. So that's where I see Bitcoin going.
All right, now, because I find that once everybody starts talking about something, it becomes something. Like my wife throws darts at a place, and in the corner they had a thing where you can actually buy Bitcoin. So obviously it's catching on. Yeah. But how do you explain, what's the best, quality Bitcoin to get? Because I guess everybody's going to eventually pop up and have a currency. So how do you pick out which one are the best to deal with?
Well, yeah, and again, it's important to differentiate. Like Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. But Ethereum's another cryptocurrency. Solana's another cryptocurrency. And again, for me, it comes about use cases and knowing the space. And it's like anything else, man. Like you're not gonna make money investing in companies without learning about like investing in that space. So if you truly want to invest in crypto, learn. Get on Twitter, create an account, search crypto, follow people that look like they're posting good content, follow people like me. There's groups where you can pay for access to people like me, and we'll show you every trade we make, and we'll show you our portfolios and help you structure your portfolio. So I am big on mentorship. When I was running, real world businesses, my solar company, my door-to-door company, my healthcare company, I seeked out mentorship and paid for it a lot. So I seek out mentorship in crypto myself. I'm great at some things in crypto, but my buddy Skag, he's the best trader I know. So I pay money every month to be a part of his trading group and learn from him and see what he's trading. So you really just have to dive in and learn and seek out content, and don't automatically assume somebody knows what they're talking about because they have followers. Because there's a lot of people, like I only got a few thousand followers, but there's people with like 30,000 followers. I'm like, yeah, they don't know shit. And then like you can tell when they talk to me, they just don't understand on the level. They got lucky buying one or two things. So for me, identifying something good, it comes with learning the space, right? You got to know the space a bit, but then also you want to look for something that solves a need or has a use case. It can't be, yeah, man, this is just, it's going to go up in value. Like it's everybody, this is big right now. Stuff runs up, like during the bull market, that was the whole selling point. Yeah, it's going to go in value. People are going to buy it because dogs are big right now. And it's like, come on, man, that's not solving a need. Like you want to find something like Algorand. It's a big one. This one is one of the most boring cryptocurrencies because it just moves really slow. But I'm long on it because in Miami, they use the Algorand blockchain to monitor the air quality. And then if you want to take it a step further, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, is probably going to make a presidential run or a vice presidential one of the two. So there's a good chance the mayor of Miami is going to make a gubernatorial run of Florida. If he ends up becoming governor of Florida, he was a big part of Algorand being instilled to monitor the air quality of Miami. So good chance they can actually expand throughout all of Florida from there. So to me, if I'm thinking long term, there's a few years of upside here. Then maybe from once you start getting one state, there's more possibilities. So like I look for stuff like that, and it's kind of understanding the space. And then even things a little outside of the space, right? Because I got to put together the mayor and the governor and string all this shit together. But that's why you learn all this stuff, or you find somebody like me that I talk about this all day. So if you follow me, you can probably learn a little bit too.
But for me, like the best way for me to learn is to dabble in it. Even if it's $5, $10, $20, and then you just watch the market and you watch the ebbs and the flows, and you're like, oh, I see how this works. I see how this works. But, you don't have to invest your whole savings. But I think if you want to get into crypto, you can tip your toe in and just be able to, because an intelligent person, if you watch anything over a year's time, you're going to learn stuff that most people aren't going to learn if you just pay attention, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Most people just don't stick with it like anything else, right? And that's probably why I've had success in the space, because like with me, everything I've ever done, for better or worse, like I stuck with it and found a way to try to do it better than anybody else. Everything from selling drugs to going door to door to selling solar, panels on somebody's house and stuff. I just found ways to learn more and do more than other people. But yeah, if you just show up and just learn, find a podcast or something you like and just listen into it and see it that they're talking about, that it makes sense, and eventually you'll pick up stuff and start finding stuff you want to invest in. And then, like you said, that's called dollar cost averaging. And it's when you don't really worry about the highs or the lows. You just throw a little bit of money every week, whatever your budget is, whether it's $20, $200, doesn't matter. Just a little bit every week. And you find a coin that you're like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. It seems like it could be big. I'm just going to throw some money in it every week. And then eventually you'll find like 2 or 3 coins like that. But for anybody just starting out, I'd say Bitcoin is a great spot to start with that. And then if from there, you'll start learning about the other things that we can get into, smart contracts and all kinds of stuff like that. But it starts, I'd say everybody should start with Bitcoin and just put a little bit of money in there every week and then expand from there.
All right. So tell me where you came up with this idea to have a Twitter group and go live at 9:06 a.m. What was the thought process and why 9:06 a.m.?
So everybody asks why 9:06, and reason is when I came up doing door-to-door sales meetings. I was in St. I started the first office I managed was in St. Louis, Missouri, and hired a bunch of ghetto people, and they'd always forget the time of the meeting. So I just do random times like, all right, 9:12 a.m. and just everybody would always remember the random time. So I've always stuck with random times for meetings. So 9:06, everybody remembers it. And then kind of funny how it started is my first NFT project, which we're going through a rebrand right now and rebranding as Coffee and Crypto. We minted, which means we brought the creation into existence on New Year's Eve, January 31st. And what we did was we onboarded a lot of people to where we were the very first NFT that they ever bought. And some of them, it was their very first crypto investment. So what I wanted to do is provide a little extra value and teach and get everybody up to speed. So I was like, all right, every morning at 9:06, I'm gonna just get on Facebook video chat and we'll hang out, and anything you guys want to learn crypto or NFT, just ask me and I'll teach. And so we did it like every day for 6 months, and then I took a little vacation to Vegas for the World Series of Poker, and I was in Vegas for 17 days in June, and my team started running it on Twitter. And it expanded really big, like outside of our community, to where like they were getting like 60 listeners in a day, at their peak. And, we generally have just like 12, sometimes 20 of us max hanging out on Facebook doing it. So I was like, yeah, we're going to keep it on Twitter, and we've been expanding. And now we get about, a couple thousand listeners every week, and we do a morning show 7 days a week. And then 5 days a week we've expanded, and we have nighttime shows. We have on Wednesday, we do a music showcase where we feature NFT music is going to be really big. So we feature artists that release NFT albums and make NFT music on Wednesdays. And it just kind of evolved into that. It really started as me just trying to teach the community and provide some value to them. And then it just turned into, hey, you're the Coffee and Crypto guys, we go places. So it's kind of what we are now.
So then how do they find it on Twitter?
So
because once I log off here, that's where I'm going.
That's what's up. So you can either follow me on Twitter, and my name's right there. Close some Sayles, CLOSE, some SOME, Sayles, SAYLES. My last name is Sayles, SAYLES. So you can follow me, or you can follow the page, which is C, the letter C as in cat, and AND, C, the letter C as in cat, every day, EVERYDAY, and that's on Twitter. And if you follow me or the page, you'll get a hold of everything there. But great value that we have in there. We teach a lot. We change the subjects daily. We do a lot of giveaways. We're giving away an NFT. We're 21,000 right now, actually. So yeah, some really cool stuff we do there.
All right. So like I said, the last question is, how do we find you besides Twitter? And how do we support your mission?
Well, thank you. So you can find me on Facebook. I'm Andrew Sayles on Facebook, ANDREWSAYLES. Twitter is really the best spot to find me for crypto content. I'm generally there posting and engaging all day and trying to learn myself. If you want to support me, there's a couple ways, honestly. So we have very soon we'll be releasing our rebranded NFT, our Coffee and Crypto NFTs, which will be really cool. They'll have a lot of use cases with them within our community. They'll be fractionalized ownership of blue chip assets. So you'll own small pieces of NFTs worth 5,000 to 6,000. There'll be fractionalized ownership over a record label / radio station. We're rolling out a 24-hour radio station, and then we're going to release NFT artists ourselves, and our holders will be able to vote on the artists and songs that we release. And then we're releasing our own crypto based game where people will be able to play it and win crypto, and people will be able to own a piece of that actual game with our NFTs. So some cool stuff there. Also, we bought a project. There's a thing in NFTs called rugging, and it's really bad. It's when founders run off with people's money essentially, and you're shit out of luck. But we saw a community get rugged, and we wanted to step up and try to save it. So we bought a project called the Saudi Monkeys, and it is cool. It's a bunch of monkeys that are just they look like they're Saudis, right? They got the bandana or whatever it's called. Sorry, my mind slipped. I'm smoking more talking. Sorry. But we bought them and we turned it into a deflationary collection. Remember I said Bitcoin's deflationary, and that's why the value goes up, because with Bitcoin, we know there's only going to be 21 million, and every year there's less Bitcoins coming into existence. So with our Saudi monkeys, we made it deflationary. We have what's called a burn wallet, and if you send your monkey to the burn wallet, that means it's out of existence forever. So the numbers of monkeys in the collection drop. But as we've been doing this coffee and crypto thing, a lot of projects reach out to us and they want to come talk on our platform. So they give us free NFTs and crypto and all kinds of stuff. And most hosts keep it for themselves. But to be real, I started this for the community. So I give it all back to the community. So we let people buy these monkeys, and they're only like $3 to $5 a piece right now. And you send them to the burn wallet, and one winner every week gets all these NFTs. And we got some like cool artwork NFTs. We have some gaming NFTs, like a fantasy sports NFT. In this week's giveaway, we have some crypto in there. And then we're giving away NFT from our collection, Dope Presidents, to where we dopified. I think I made that word up, but we dopified the presidents. All the presidents are like smoking blunts, have gold teeth, have gold chains. Abe Lincoln's holding some cash up to his ear. And everybody who holds one of those NFTs is going to be airdropped $21,000. And we're giving one of those away in this week's raffle. So if you go to magiceden.io, look up Saudi monkeys and grab some. They're like 0.05 Solana, which is just like $3 to $5, depending on market value. And on my Twitter, I have the burn wallet post, but you can reach out if you want to get in this raffle. It's going another 24 hours, but we do raffles every week. So that's how you can support my cause, man. Show up and be a part of the community, grab some NFTs, and just hang out and learn with us. What I always say is we have no bad questions in our community. Experts learn from beginners learn from experts, because you never know who's going to be the person that comes in and learns something in our morning space, goes out and finds something all of us miss, and they bring it back and we all make money off it. And it's happened multiple times. Like I've personally made calls on the air to where it went from 50 to 1,500 in our 2-hour episode. And, people just hung out and they made some money hanging out with us. And then we've had times where guys that came on, and in January, I was teaching them the ins and outs, and then they make a call and it goes from like 600 to 1,200 in our episode. And so it's a really cool vibe. And so you can support me just by showing up and letting me help support you, and let's learn from each other.
All right, guys. So remember, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, if you have any questions, drop them below, and I'll make sure I get them to Andrew so he can answer them for you. Brother, I just want to say thank you for taking the time on Labor Day, and I love everything you're doing.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, guys. So remember, vertical momentum, the only way to go is but up. And guys, like my t-shirt says, today I decide. Those are the 3 most important words in the English language. If you're not where you want to be financially today, make that decision. Maybe get involved with some NFTs, some crypto. And definitely get in touch with Andrew. All right, my brother. Have an amazing week.
You too.
All right, guys. Remember, vertical momentum. The only way to go is up, and I will see you tomorrow.